Good morning. Welcome to the Wednesday, June 21st meeting of the Board of Franklin County Commissioners. Roll call, please.
Commissioner Stottlemyre.
Present.
Commissioner Harris.
Present.
Chair Dickinson.
Present.
Commissioner Dunn.
Present.
Vice Chair Waymeyer.
Present.
Please stand and join me for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. You may be seated. Any correspondence or organizational business? Any public comment? All right, we'll move on to the consent agenda, which consists of the minutes from the meeting on June 14th and claim vouchers in the amount of $410,181.91.
Chair Dickinson. I also neglected to put on there that you have soliciting bids to replenish the stock of culverts.
Oh, all right, and we're gonna add approving bids to replenish our stock of culverts. All right, you want to finish it?
Still motion to approve. Second.
Commissioner Stottlemyre.
Yes.
Commissioner Harris.
Yes.
Commissioner Dunn.
Yes.
Commissioner Waymeyer.
Yes.
Chair Dickinson.
Yes. Our first item of business, consider for approval increasing Franklin County EMS service fees and executing the authorizing resolution. Christy Hilliker, good morning.
Good morning. So I just want to start off to say that we have not increased our service fees since January 1st of 2018. That was the last record that I had of increasing our service fees. However, lots of things have happened since 2018. The average cost of an ambulance ride is 22% higher than what it was in 2018. However, we also have some increases in payments from insurance companies. On average, private insurance is up 56% in what they will allow an ambulance to charge. Medicare is up about 5% with the same thing. So I started looking at what are our rates compared to the surrounding counties. I was able to get that information from everyone except for Osage County. And with just very few exceptions, statistically, even if we increase our service fees at 10% across the board, which when I'm talking service fees, I mean what's reimbursable by insurance, we still come in lower than average with all of the surrounding counties. But I think 10% is a good place to start. So I was just here before you today to ask for a 10% increase in what we're charging for our service fees. And if you have any questions specifically about what we are charging for what, I am happy to answer those. But I did provide you a fact sheet for our data definitions on what each level of service relates to.
Any questions for Christy?
What would be specialty transports?
That's a very good question. So a specialty transport means that something is happening that you have to have specialized training for. Most often with that, we're going to be taking either a nurse with us because we have a lot of medications that the patient is on. The patient is too sick for just EMS alone to manage, so a nurse with some specialty knowledge would go with us. It may be that we're taking a respiratory therapist with us to provide help with maybe the patient's intubated and it's a difficult case. So that would be when we're taking somebody typically from the hospital with some specialized training along with us.
All right, we don't have any other questions. Do we have a resolution number?
2331.
331?
2331.
2331, all right. So affirmative motion is I make a motion to execute resolution 2331, which approves increasing Franklin County EMS service fees.
Motion approved. Second.
Commissioner Harris.
Yes.
Commissioner Dunn.
Yes.
Commissioner Waymeyer.
Yes.
Commissioner Stottlemyre.
Yes.
Chair Dickinson.
Yes,
Thank you.
thank you. And then our second item of business is approve changes to the health department's master fee schedule. Sounds like all we're doing today is raising fees, but for most people, it's all insurance covered, right?
Good morning. Good
Morning.
Yes, we would like to begin. And with our fee schedule, we talked about it last week in the Board of Health meeting. Kind of went through it line by line, and what we're looking at doing is, again, that just looking at what our costs are and then appropriately making the fee that, but definitely focusing on serving those, all those people that need us, but still needing to be fiscally responsible. Okay? Any questions with what we discussed last week or what you have in front of you before you consider approving?
Good. We talked a lot about this at our Board of Health meeting. This one does say that the fees would become effective July 1st.
Yes, ma'am.
And
Yes,
Christy,
ma'am.
will your fees change as soon as the resolution is signed?
July 1st as well.
Yours is July 1st as well, all right. Good time to do it then, all right. If we don't have any other questions or discussion, then affirmative motion would be I make a motion to approve the proposed changes to the Health Department's master fee schedule effective on July 1st, 2023.
A motion to approve. Second.
Commissioner Dunn?
Yes.
Commissioner Waymire?
Yes.
Commissioner Sotomayor?
Yes.
Commissioner Harris? Chair Dickinson?
Yes, and this next item, we also talked about at our Board of Health meeting last week. Discuss and consider for approval for the MOU to have the Health Department determine and authorize presumptive CAN-CARE coverage for individuals who meet presumptive eligibility criteria. Brenda.
Yes, ma'am. That's exactly right. We discussed it. So really where we feel that this is going to be very helpful to our community, for example, if someone is pregnant and they do not have insurance at all, we would assist them in getting CAN-CARE. If they do apply with us and they are qualified, they will have immediate same-day coverage. So the great news about that is that not only would they probably, they would qualify for WIC, but they would also be able to go seek health care and get prenatal care much faster than not having insurance. And then again, it's same-day coverage, and it's a guaranteed 30-day coverage until the CAN-CARE application is completed. So basically, we're just helping on the back end, helping them through the portal, because it can be quite tricky. Questions about that?
If there are no questions, I make a motion to, the affirmative motion would be, I make a motion to approve the presumptive eligibility 2-year MOU to allow the Health Department to assist uninsured individuals that are pregnant and children under the age of 19 to apply for CAN-CARE.
Would be a good tool for you to help the most at risk, so I make a motion to approve.
Thank you.
Second.
Commissioner Waymire?
Yes.
Commissioner Sotomayor?
Yes.
Commissioner Harris?
Yes.
Commissioner Dunn?
Yes.
Chair Dickinson?
Yes. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
All right, that concludes our business. We'll move on to staff reports. Derek.
Yeah, one quick thing. We received a request recently from a citizen. They lost their house in a fire earlier this year and have requested that the board waive their property tax. Kansas law provides you an avenue to do that. We're still working through the mechanics of how to do it before we come to you with a recommendation. But certainly, looking into this a little bit, it's an appropriate request, and I am going to recommend that we do it. We just need to look at what the amount would be and just specifically what that looks like. But just an FYI, that will be coming in front of you. That's really all I have today. Thanks.
Beam, nothing from FCDC. Anything else from ambulance? No. Sheriff, anything? All right. Brenda, anything more? All right. We're all the way around. David Lee.
All right, I'll carry the water for everybody, I guess. The 2023 dust control program is completed, finally. We finished up yesterday with the last couple of locations. It's been a struggle this year, I've reported to you all about this, but all across our region, there were some internal issues with subcontractors and various things that led to all this, but I'm glad that our citizens kind of bared with us to get to this point. I think that even though we're towards the end of June when we're finishing this up, it's still going to provide relief for those that participated. And as to kind of help out, we ordinarily end in our application. We've got a mid-September date where we tell folks that we're going to do our very best to stay off of the dust control locations through the middle of September. We're going to extend that through the end of October. And so we're going to do our very best to stay off of those locations. But if maintenance needs to be done at any point, we will go in and do that. As a part of our experience this year, we're going to maybe modify our bid package next year and add a little bit more verbiage to our application process to make folks aware that this kind of thing could happen again. We hope not. I'm thankful that we didn't take the step that Anderson County did just this past Monday. They canceled their dust control program and going to issue refunds to all the citizens that send their fees in. So that's quite a deal. I know that there's a lot of frustration really with every county that I visited with about this issue. So, but I'm very thankful that we're done and we can look forward to hopefully better times next year. The municipal demolition program has got our first applications. They arrived yesterday from the city of Richmond. They've got a total of 4 houses that they are wanting to tear down. They've got 2 of them that they're ready to start right now. And so I visited with them yesterday. They've got their applications to us. I'll visit with our landfill staff today, but we could start seeing material just about any time for the first house. And here in a couple of weeks, the second house will come. So that's great. I think it'll be a good deal for the communities that are, aggressively working on this. And so kudos to the city of Richmond for getting it kicked off. Old 50, next week, I'll have the amended contract to take care of the final bid plans and construction inspection services for this project. Jeff Lawley, the project manager with Bartlett West, will be here to kind of walk us through that and to also answer any questions that you may have. They've got a schedule kind of worked out that this will be bid in August and hopefully get it started in October by the time you work through the contracts and all of those things that are needed. So we're still on schedule to get started this year, although the bulk of the work is likely to be done starting in the spring of next year. But I'm hoping that doing it this time of year results in good prices for us because they can kind of preload for the start of next year. So that's a good thing. Also, and finally, we had a project update with SCS on the landfill expansion project yesterday. They have got a layout incorporating some of the new land that we acquired late last year. It's going to add about 22 acres, I believe it is, to the overall total, which will bump that up to, we'll actually be permitting about 76 acres total now. And so we didn't talk, how long that will extend the life of the landfill, but in the original estimate, we were going to be over 100 years, so this ought to be well out there for us. So that's a good thing. They're going to be submitting we're expected to submit the application to KDHE during the fourth quarter this year. And we're going to have a kind of update meeting with KDHE here in the next couple of weeks to apprise them of where we're at, talk to them about the additional land that we acquired and some of the work that we're going to be doing with that. We are going to have a drilling crew on site here in the next couple of weeks to install 3 new piezometers on the exterior of the proposed boundary. That kind of measures the groundwater separation and some of those things that we need for design. And KDHE is going to want that as part of the process as well. So that work will be done, and then we'll also, as part of this, we'll have to update our plat of survey, which is a component of this project. At this point, both of those items looks like can be covered under the existing cost estimates that they've given us. So we shouldn't be, they've come in, because we're doing it by the hour, some of their services they've already completed, well under budget. So they're anticipating that these other 2 items that I just mentioned shouldn't affect our overall budget for the project. So that's a good thing. And so that's all I've got at this time.
Awesome. All right, thank you. Janet, I think I skipped Dustin. Did you have anything this morning? All right. All right. All right, let's move on to commissioner comments. Dawn, anything?
No. I don't have anything.
All right.
Oh, well, I do. I went to the ECAN meeting last night, and we kind of went through all the grants that the ECAN receives for various programs they have. One thing did come up was accessibility to Hope House after they moved out here to the south end. There's been concern about some people don't have the transportation capability to go to Hope House to get their products and the Harvester delivery and those sort of things. So anyway, they're aware of it, and I'm going to try to help out those people that don't have transportation to go out to the south end. And that was the main thing we talked about last night.
All right. Well, I thought maybe they would cover. All 5 of us went to the chamber coffee at the health department on Friday with a great turnout. Just an opportunity to get the word out that about the health department and all the services that are being able to provide. Otherwise, I don't have anything else. Looking forward to another great week to live in Franklin County. And unless there's any other business, we are adjourned.
So move.
All right.
Second.